Great Odin's raven!
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go.
Hello and welcome to the FilmPulse.net podcast, episode number 17. My name is Adam, and today we have Kevin. How you doing there, Kevin?
Okay.
We are both suffering from severe migraines today on this rainy Memorial Day. Is it raining up there?
No, it's very hot out. Almost 90.
It's hot out down here, but it's also raining off and on, so...
We had a huge storm last night. It was crazy. It was like pitch black outside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was nuts.
Today we're going to be going over some news highlights for the last couple weeks. And we have Ryan back with us to tell us about a movie we made him watch called Piranha 2, directed by James Cameron in honor of Piranha 3 Double D coming out this week. And finally, we'll be going over our predictions for this week's opening films. But first, let's talk about some of what we've been watching. Kevin, did you watch anything this week?
I watched two very experimental films.
Okay.
One after the other. So it was a very mind-bending movie watching experience. The first one I watched was Mysterious Object at Noon, which I always feared that this day would happen, where I would have to talk about this director, because, like always, we have trouble pronouncing names, and this has to be the worst one. This is by the guy that directed Uncle Boon Me.
Okay.
So I'm going to give a shot, I guess, at his name. Did you just see what it was?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I have no idea where to even begin.
I'd also like to have you try to pronounce the original title for the film.
Oh my god. I seriously always feared that this day would come. And I tried not to watch his movies because I didn't want to have to say his name. But here we go. I'm gonna start off with the first name as Pichapatpong.
It sounds right.
Weera Sethical. That's probably way off, but
it
sounded all right.
You pronounced it phonetically, at least.
Yes. I have no idea how to pronounce Thai.
Yeah.
I don't know what their sounds are. Okay, the original title. Dakva na Moonman?
It sounds close.
Yeah. Killed it. I think this is his first movie. It's, it goes in between sort of like a documentary and just like a normal film. Mm-hmm. They use that storytelling structure called Exquisite Corpse, where he just goes through the countryside and getting people to add to the story. And then while they're telling the story, the various different people that he runs into, he has non-actors act out the story that they're telling. And the story is very odd. I mean, it starts out pretty normal. It's just a crippled kid with a teacher, and then like a mysterious object rolls out from her skirt when she passes out, and then it turns into another boy.
Okay.
And yeah, no, it's weird. And I think the boy turns into the teacher, but not the real teacher. And the handicapped boy can't figure out which one's the real teacher. And then, I don't know, like the neighbor comes by to like help. And then he falls in love with the real teacher. And then he turns into a boxer to make money. And then they kidnap the two boys. And then I think they turn into a tiger or something. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
So
it's all over the place.
Essentially, it's like that game that we used to play in elementary school, where it'd be like, what was it called? Like the phone game where somebody says something to someone else and they say it, and like by the time it gets to the end of the line, it's like a completely different thing, where like each person adds a little bit to the story.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. he travels the whole countryside, and it starts out with this woman that's like selling tuna in a truck, which is terrible enough. Who wants to buy fish out of the back of a truck? But apparently they do. So she starts the story. Well, first she starts it off with her life story of how her father sold her to her uncle, which is extremely sad.
Yeah.
And then she starts the story, and then I think he goes to. I think the next person is like an elderly lady, and then she adds to it. And when he gets to the elderly lady, he sort of tells her what so far what has happened in the story, and then she adds a little bit to it, and then I think he finds like four teenage guys. He tells them, what the story is so far, and they add to it. I mean, it was an interesting experiment. I don't know if it really turned out that well. But I mean, it was definitely interesting to watch. And then, like near the end, with the non-actors are acting out, the story, and they just break in the middle. They just say like cut, and like the little kid's anxious to get his KFC chicken, and then they just eat and they sort of discuss the movie and stuff.
So it's like half documentary, half like storytelling.
Yeah, it's a little bit of half everything.
Sounds interesting. As a side note, I'm looking on the IMDb and it says people also liked, and there's a movie here called The Adventures of Iron Pussy. Like, a transvestite secret agent is sent to a mission to the Thai countryside, which actually, real quick, just to get off topic for a second, I just checked out a new show on the Sky Channel in the UK called Hit and Miss. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
It's starring Chloe Sevigny. And it takes place in Scotland, I believe, and she's a pre-op transsexual who's also a hit woman / man.
Oh. A hit human.
A hit person. It's pretty interesting. They only came out with the pilot so far, but what was the second one you saw?
I watched Heart of Glass by Werner Herzog because I just finished the book. Remember I was telling you that book that sort of went over the making of Heart of Glass?
Yeah.
The book, Werner Herzog is a madman. Some of the things that they talk about in that book are just ridiculous. I will share one tidbit. There's a bunch of stuff, but this one I really enjoyed. He's, filming with his actors and everything, and there was a guy that was essentially done filming. He didn't want to film anymore that day. And Herzog was saying, wait, we had to get this one last scene. And the guy was like, no, I have to go to, I think he had to go to like Switzerland or something. But apparently he was just making it up. He just wanted to get out of shooting. So finally, Herzog had enough, and him and his assistant were like, okay, we'll drive you to Switzerland. So they get in the van, they drive to a cliff, open up the door, and it's just looking out over the cliff of this mountain. And it's like, you either get out here or you finish filming.
Oh, man.
So they were pretty much ready to just throw a guy over a cliff because he wouldn't film a scene.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is
and there's a couple other things in that book that he does that are a lot like that.
It's funny because like this is a documentary, right?
No, this is an actual just.
Oh no, this is
a narrative, but this has the distinction of most of the actors are under hypnosis.
Oh.
While he's filming it, which he does the hypnosis himself.
What a character.
Yeah, he's something else. It's about a small village. The foreman of the glass making factory dies, and they make this ruby glass, red tinted glass, and that's how they make all their money. Well, when he dies, he takes the secret with him, and no one knows how to make the ruby glass. So everyone sort of goes into a state of like hysteria almost, but like subdued hysteria, and they just sort of lose their minds. And I think the one like herder is like he has premonitions and he sees the future, and it's just overall insanity, really. Once again, very experimental and interesting to watch. I don't know if it really worked though.
This is Germany. Takes place in Germany.
Yes, which I gotta say, when the guy like describes his visions, the German language is perfect for that sort of stuff. That doom and gloom.
The German language.
Well, he was the only guy that wasn't under hypnosis. That and I guess the glass blowers, because as you can imagine, that would be pretty dangerous to have.
Yeah.
But there's an extended scene where they show them, blowing glass and working in a factory, which is, I could just watch that all day. That stuff is amazing.
Did you ever go to the Corning glass place I think it's in New York?
I did not know.
I went there on a family vacation once.
Nice.
Yeah, as like a 12-year-old, let me just tell you that going to the Corning Glass Museum is not the best place in the world.
I can imagine.
I think that I would find it to be a little bit more interesting now. But so the first movie I want to talk about is a documentary called The Ambassador. And this is one of the most fascinating stories I've seen in quite a while. I love documentaries that go new places and maybe are a little bit risky and bring something new to the table. And basically what this film is this guy, he's from Denmark, and his name's Mads Brugger, and he's the central character of the film, but he also wrote it and directed it. He's sort of like a Borat type character, a Sacha Baron Cohen character, where the entire movie he takes on this other persona. So he decides that he's going to become a diplomat, and through some slightly shady deals, he actually does become an official Libyan diplomat. On paper, he pays $150,000. He becomes a Libyan diplomat. He gets a passport. He gets a driver's license. It's all official. Nothing's like forged or anything. And the reason that he does this is because he decides that he wants to try to procure African blood diamonds. So he heads over, and he starts meeting with people. He starts meeting with presidents and dignitaries and all these people. He starts making his way up the ladder of like important political figures, and then he finally meets the owner of one of the mines. He gets the owner to take him to one of the mines, and he's allowed to film there. And I mean, I don't think it's giving a big spoiler away, but he does end up procuring these blood diamonds.
What does he do with the blood diamonds when he gets them?
Well, you'll have to kind of see the movie to see how that turns out, because it starts off as kind of a comedy. The character that he plays is such a cartoon. I mean, it's exactly what you would think of when you think of like a white diplomat. Like he doesn't really care about anybody but business and stuff like that. Yeah. And it starts off as kind of goofy, but it gets really serious because
I can imagine it's African blood diamonds. I would hope that it gets somewhat serious.
Literally, people start dying. And once that starts to happen, things get a little bit serious. But by that point, he's so deep, he can't just say, all right, I got to get out of here or whatever. He's got to see it through, because if he lets his guard down, if he stops acting as this guy for even 1 second, someone could, figure it out and he'd be in real trouble. So it's just a fascinating movie. He narrates it, and he sort of sounds like Werner Herzog, actually.
Nice.
But it's somewhat it's somewhat funny at some parts, but it is, and a lot of people online are kind of criticizing him because like he goes the full 9 yards. Like he's like, okay, well, I need a reason to have these blood diamonds and stuff. I need a reason to be there, so I'm going to set up a match factory. So he flies in a guy from India that's a specialist in making matches.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire pygmies to work at this match factory that I'm making. And he sets it up. I mean, it's all legit.
Wow.
So, I mean, he takes the illusion so far.
Wow. Well, yeah, what it sort of sounds like what you're describing is like a, sort of like the Yes Men.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever seen those documentaries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
sounds a lot like that. Wow.
It's like that, only it's on a little bit of a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because this guy has like millions of dollars that he can play with, and he spends tons of money in this movie. And it's definitely recommended. He also made another movie called The Red Chapel, when he actually went to North Korea under the guise of being a vaudeville performer, and they let him into North Korea. So he's done this before, but I highly recommend it. Very, very interesting.
What African country does he go to get these?
You know what? I was trying to remember like so hard today before we started recording, and I cannot remember the name of the country that he goes to. It's one that I never heard of before, so it's like a smaller one.
It says filming location Central African Republic.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there, but there was like, I'm pretty sure there was like a specific like town or something that it was filmed in, that where the mines were and stuff. But I can
Liberia.
a little bit of it takes place in Liberia, but not a lot. That's just where he got his like diploma ship or whatever.
Diploma ship.
Like what's the term for that?
I have no idea. I don't even know how that stuff works.
Well, basically the reason that he
sounds like anyone can just do it.
Well, you're not supposed to, but basically once you have that, you can travel freely throughout the world carrying whatever you want because you have immunity.
Yeah, that's... Who allowed that?
Probably the corrupt government.
Who thought that was a good idea? I'm going to be an ambassador tomorrow. I'm going to get working on that. That's my goal for this summer.
I think, well, if you have 150 grand, you can probably do it.
Okay, first goal of the summer is to get 150 grand.
There you go.
Second goal,
small steps. Small steps.
Baby steps. I'm going to get there.
The other movie I saw was a movie called Hell. This is a German movie. Sort of a post-apocalyptic thriller. It was pretty good. Wasn't great. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There were some new things to it. I haven't seen a German post-apocalyptic movie before. It kind of reminded me of the Book of Eli, the Denzel Washington movie. In this movie, like I guess the ozone layer is diminished and the sun is coming through. You can't be out in the sun like at all because it'll like instantly start to burn you. So it was kind of like this small group of people were trying to survive, and they had to deal with bands of marauders and whatnot. It was
It's showing here that it's from Roland Emmerich, the director of The Day After Tomorrow in 2012.
I think that he
Probably
maybe produced it or executive produced it.
Yeah, more than likely one of those
I mean, Roland Emmerich is.
shit director.
I mean, if you're into disaster films, I mean, that's all he does. He just does pretty much all disaster films. But this was actually pretty cool. I'd say it's worth a watch.
Yes, it was executive produced.
It's like a cross between The Book of Eli and The Road, maybe. It's better than The Book of Eli. Probably better than The Road, too, because there's a little bit more action.
Yeah.
So, and finally, I saw Mel Gibson in Get the Gringo.
Oh.
This was formerly titled How I Spent My Summer Vacation. I don't know why they didn't keep that one title.
That's like the worst name for a movie.
The only bit I didn't like about this movie, and I will say, right off the bat, I did like this movie. Despite Mel Gibson, I was kind of able to put my thoughts on him, like, personally aside.
Yeah.
And just kind of enjoy the movie. And it made me realize, like, I like Mel Gibson as an actor. I like most of his movies. I think he's a good actor. I just wish he weren't so crazy. And apparently he's just like an evil guy, and I don't know, maybe he just has anger issues or something, but this movie he could definitely get those anger issues out because he killed a lot of people. He fought a lot of people. The only part I didn't like was actually it was narrated by him, and I normally don't like narration in films.
Yeah.
So other than that, it was actually pretty cool. It took place in Mexico in this crazy Mexican jail. I had no idea that jails were like that in Mexico. It's like a little community. Like wives can live there with their husbands, and kids can live there. They have shops set up. I mean, it's crazy. But it was actually pretty cool. It was kind of your standard action type movie. Wasn't great. Might be worth a rental.
Oh, fantastic. Peter Stormare is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoy Peter Stormare.
Yeah, he's, as you might expect, he plays a villain.
I would imagine.
And Dean Norris, who's in Breaking Bad as the...
Oh, yeah, Hank Schrader.
Yeah, as the in-law DEA agent. He plays not a DEA agent in this, but...
I was going to say...
No, he plays like, I don't know if
he's got to play some sort of law enforcement.
Yeah, he's like Border Patrol. He's like a Border Patrol guy or something.
I figured he would be.
Yeah.
It seems like that's all he's going to get for a while.
Probably. And that's all I saw. Are you ready to do some Ryan Watches a Movie?
Hell yeah.
All right, let's do it. This is Ryan Watches a Movie, where we get our friend Ryan to watch a movie and report back to us on if it was good or not.
Oh no.
Magi.
Oh, little kids got naked and had lots of sex.
Welcome back, Ryan. What movie did we have you watch this week?
Piranha Part 2, The Spawning.
Piranha 2, The Spawning, directed by James Cameron. We picked this in honor of Piranha 3DD coming out this week. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like Piranha 3DD is actually going to be better than this. Let me go ahead and read the synopsis. A scuba diving instructor, her biochemist boyfriend, and her police chief ex-husband try to link a series of bizarre deaths to a mutant strain of piranha fish whose lair is a sunken freighter ship off of a Caribbean island resort. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, Ryan, let's go ahead and listen to the trailer. This is James Cameron's Piranha 2, The Spawning.
Sleek, fierce, savage, deadly. The Piranha. For centuries, nature's most ferocious killer. Until now. The new breed is here. Faster, more ferocious, and infinitely more deadly. Piranha 2.
It's tremendous jaw pressure. It's sheer to cleanly through bone in places.
It's here. It's alive. And it's multiplying.
We spliced in genes from different species to create the ultimate killer organism.
It lives in the depths of the sea, but it can strike anywhere.
Loretta,
Okay. I love how they seem like that's just a good idea. Hey, let's splice together all these genes and make a ferocious killing beast.
That would, but
Like-
when they say that they can strike anywhere, what do they mean? Can they just like?
Oh,
can you-
Adam saw firsthand where they can strike anywhere.
Yeah, apparently the whole thing about Piranha 2 is that they can fly.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they're bats that look like piranhas.
Nice.
And Ryan sent me a little clip of this one scene, and it was some of probably the worst special effects I've ever seen, with
Fantastic.
these piranha flying through the air, attacking this poor guy.
They like hover.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Nice.
so clearly on strings, it's not even funny.
So you could be going to like your local supermarket, and a piranha would just come out of nowhere and eat your face off.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Short answer?
Fantastic.
Short answer, yes. They're everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this was made in 1981, but just from watching the trailer and the clip you showed me, Ryan, it looks really, really poor, even for 1981.
It looked like, honestly, from all the, because, you know, it's one of those campy horror movies. It reminded me, honestly, of like a 1970s porn. Because there were just naked people everywhere, and there was big hair, and like crazy one-piece swimming suits. It was ridiculous.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the plot?
Well, first of all, I have to say that when you were outlining the plot for IMDb, you said her biochemist boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
but in the movie, he is a biochemist, and apparently, well, not apparently, because I heard her say it, the girl met him 5 days previous.
Okay.
So I don't think that story extends very far.
So are they boyfriend and girlfriend or what?
I think they're more of like, you know, lovers. Because
okay.
it's like a resort island that it takes place on with many comers and goers.
Many what?
Yeah, what?
Many people coming and going.
I gotcha.
So the boyfriend, he is the one that develops the piranha, or
Well,
what?
apparently, before this movie takes place, the biochemist knows what's happening, and he goes to this island to investigate everything and possibly put a stop to it. And he doesn't obviously tell her any of that until later on in the movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like close to the best.
And then, yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. And that wraps it up.
So this is directed by James Cameron, the James Cameron, Titanic. Now, is this one of his? Has to be one of his very first movies, right?
This is one of his very worst movies.
This is his first feature full-length movie.
Yeah. So it's funny because 3 years later he does Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's a pretty big leap there.
Yeah, it is.
Going from Piranha Part 2, The Spawning, to a classic like The Terminator. I mean, what must have happened there?
They
Now
probably just needed a director, and he signed up for it to get some money.
Yeah.
Is this like a actual part 2? Or is that the name of it?
No, the original Piranha, I believe, was made in like 1974 or something like that, 78. So this is actually the sequel. Now, I don't know if any of the characters are the same, because I've never seen the original. But the original one was produced by Roger Corman, who's a very, very famous producer.
Correct.
And this came out, the original Piranha, I believe, came out right after Jaws. And it was like really successful, I believe, because of Jaws. And it was like kind of spawned this influx in rip-off type movies.
Well, I'm looking here, and I mean, it's right there in the tagline. It says, "Terror is back, but this time it flies."
There you go.
So, no surprise.
Were there any cool deaths?
No.
Anything good about this movie at all?
No. Nothing.
Nothing.
The deaths are basically, piranhas attacking in huge swarms. And being the fact that it was made in 1981, they probably couldn't show too many graphic things because they didn't have good editing. So, mainly when people get killed, there's like a huge pool of blood or blood running off of them. And that's about it.
So it's pretty standard piranha deaths.
It's pretty standard horror.
Gotcha.
Nothing special. I did notice that Lance Hendrickson is in it.
He's in everything.
Yeah, he was in Millennium. He was in Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
He was also in Terminator. He was also in Aliens. So it looks like for a while there, him and Cameron must have been buddies.
I also noticed that this movie there's an uncredited director, and he also helped write the screenplay. Ovidio Asantius, which I checked him out, and he has a movie which I'm hoping is a spin-off of the Titanic movie called Tentacles. It's a horror movie, and I'm hoping that it's the same character from that animated Titanic movie, but I believe not because it's from 1977.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the cover for Tentacles right now, and it looks like a Jaws ripoff.
So I wonder if that's where they got the name for their octopus in that animated movie that we had you watch.
Tentacles. Each year, 10,000 tourists visit Ocean Beach. This summer, Ocean Beach has attracted something else.
Oh.
And that something else is Tentacles. The octopus.
Yep.
So, what? Anything else to add, Ryan?
No, I'm sorry. This movie
No, come on.
Really terrible.
Come on, Ryan. Any cool underwater stuff? I mean, James Cameron.
No, dude. It was made in 1981.
Well, I was just wondering because he's so big into deep sea diving and everything. I was wondering if back then he did some cool stuff.
I'm curious as to what the budget of this movie is.
I don't think it says according to IMDb. I don't believe it says.
No.
$10.
Really? All right. Yeah.
That's my guess.
That's not bad.
And 7 of it, they probably paid James Cameron to direct.
Probably. You know, did you guys hear that James Cameron is no longer making any movies other than Avatars?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
And I did see on the IMDb trivia in an interview, James Cameron said, "I believe The Spawning was the finest flying piranha movie ever made."
I'm sure he said that as a joke.
I would have
What do you think about that, Ryan? No more James Cameron movies, only Avatars.
I couldn't care less.
Uh,
I'm not really into any of the movies aside from Terminator. I'm not really into any of the movies, man.
You don't like The Abyss or Aliens? Aliens? Come
Wait,
on. Aliens.
Didn't
the second
Ridley
one.
Scott make Alien?
He made Alien, the first one.
Oh, okay. Well then,
James Cameron did. Game over, man.
My uncle said game over.
For those of you that don't know Ryan's uncle, he looks exactly like Bill Paxton.
I was just reading more trivia here for this movie, and apparently the credit goes to James Cameron, but most of the work was done by the other guy that we mentioned. And James Cameron did most of the shooting for the movie, but was not allowed to see his footage or be involved with the editing.
That's weird.
Yeah. He actually broke into the editing room to try and cut his own version, but was caught.
What do you think of James Cameron, Kevin?
I don't necessarily like his movies. I don't mind him as a person. I think he just a couple months ago was the second person ever to dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. So big kudos to him for doing that.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of an adventurer.
Yeah, I mean, he's really into deep sea diving and stuff. So, and I mean, I love the deep sea. So I like him as a person. I just don't really like his movies too much.
To me, he seems like he's more focused on the technical aspects of filmmaking than the actual storytelling aspects.
Yeah.
And the art of it. And I like The Abyss, and I like True Lies, and I like Terminator 2 and the first one, and Aliens. So I think he has a pretty strong filmography. Now, with Avatar, I saw that in 3D at the IMAX, and I came out of it just completely wowed. And then I saw it later on HBO, and I was just like, what was I thinking? Like, this isn't even that good. And I think that was like just a testament to show like how really good special effects can really enhance an experience.
I think he's definitely a person that directs movies that have to be seen on a movie screen.
Absolutely.
I will tell you that in this, at one point they're investigating a morgue to check out the bodies of the people that have been killed. And the Piranha come up into the morgue after people, and they fly through the windows. They just crash through the windows.
Nice.
Crash the windows?
Fish going through windows.
Well, answer me this, Ryan. Does anyone... I would like to know what type of techniques you use to fight against flying piranhas.
Apparently, these people use no techniques.
No techniques? They really didn't even try.
They just stand there and die.
They just accepted their fate.
Yes.
I had a good run.
Yep, they come to terms. It's
like
time for flying piranhas to take over.
Like at one point towards the end of the movie, it's like this island, and they're all about like their big tourist thing is watching the Grunion. And
wait, what? Watching the Grunion?
Yeah.
What's that? Grunion?
It's like a fish that comes on the land to habitat or to mate.
To mate?
Oh, I think I've seen those.
And so all these people, there's probably 200 people standing on the beach waiting for the Grunion. And they all have one stick, like torches in their hands so they can see. And the Piranha just started like freaking out and flying out of the ocean. And people just stand there and get eaten. Like, why couldn't you take the stick and beat them? Like baseball bats. Or run away, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get away from flying piranha. Just go inside.
Yeah. Well, he says they crash through windows, don't they?
Yeah, apparently they
Yeah.
can break windows.
Wow.
Just super piranha.
Yeah, I looked up grunions, and those events are called grunion runs. Yeah.
It sounds like a blast.
Dude, we gotta catch one of those.
I heard I forget what show I was watching the other day, but they say Piranha 3D is supposed to be one of the best, worst horror movies. And, like, you know, good for entertainment, very good to laugh at, good for, you know, whatever. This movie is none of that.
Well, I'll tell you, I saw Piranha 3D in the theater, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was so much fun. Like, Christopher Lloyd was in it, and he played Doc from Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's what that
He was like this kind of oddball scientist guy, and Richard Dreyfuss was in it, and he played basically his character from Jaws. And that was the thing about Piranha. I mean, it wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was just stupid fun. It was, people got killed in crazy ways. There were several scenes where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm watching that on a theater. Like, a guy gets his dick bitten off, and they show a close up of the piranha that bites his dick off, and he burps it, and like a big piece of his dick comes out. And it's like in 3D, so, you know, everybody in the theater is like trying to dodge the floating penis that's coming towards them. And like there was another scene where a woman got her ponytail caught in a boat propeller, and that was pretty nasty too.
There was none of that in this movie. It was just all around dumb.
I'm actually gonna go see Piranha 3 Double D. I'm gonna review it because I don't think anybody is gonna appreciate that movie like me.
I think
I have this vision in my head. Every time we say flying piranhas, I just think of like Birdemic special effects, where they're just sort of floating.
They're not a lot different. If you watch the trailer,
yes,
they do look similar. But nice. I mean, with Birdemic, that was all done in like After Effects.
Yeah.
So that was all like quasi CG. But in Piranha 2, strings. It's like rubber and strings.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Ryan, let's go ahead and give you a drum roll, and you can tell us what you thought. So let me get this queued up. What did you think of Piranha 2? What's it called? The New Breed?
Spawning. The
Spawning. Why did I think it was called The New Breed? What's called The New Breed? Gremlins 2? No, that's The New Batch.
It could be The New Breed.
No.
It makes sense. We just retitled it. Who cares?
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome,
what did you
James
think
Cameron.
of Piranha 2, The Spawning?
Oh my God. And I'm going to give it a 2.
2? Piranha 2 gets a 2. How about that?
Just seriously, if you're listening to this, don't even waste your time. I know I said it a lot, but I really mean it this time. Don't waste your time watching it.
What do you think of the idea of merging Piranha 2, The Spawning, with the movie we had you watch last week, Mikhail's Navy? What if we put those two movies together?
It's good. Tom Arnold and Piranhas, how can you get better than that?
Yeah, I would definitely watch that.
Sounds great. Sounds great. All right, Ryan, well, thanks for watching that for us. We'll have another great movie for you next week.
All right.
If you want to pick up your own copy of Piranha 2 The Spawning, just head on over to our site at filmpulse.net and hit the Ryan Watches a Movie button, and it'll be there for you.
Don't do that, or we'll make lots of fun of you next week.
If you do buy Piranha 2, send us your information so we can make fun of you on the air. Thanks.
Actually, if you buy it and watch that, We want you on the podcast.
Exactly.
As sort of as a rebuttal.
We'll
to
reward
Ryan,
you.
Yeah, to Ryan's review.
So watch Piranha 2, let us know, and we'll actually have you on the show. There we go. All right, Ryan, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
See you later.
Let's talk about some Amazon deals. To get these incredible deals, just go to our site at filmpulse.net and either click on the Amazon banner, shop as you would normally, or click on the store link and check out some of our favorites and what we've been talking about on the show. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than picking some specific deals that are going on, I wanted to go over a new section on Amazon called...
You got a new section?
Yeah. It's called Never Before on DVD.
Oh, I heard about this, but I didn't get to check it out yet.
So what they decided to do was bring back all these TV shows and movies that were never before on DVD and sell them on Amazon. So we have some great titles like Night Court.
What? Night Court.
Oh,
nice.
It's mostly garbage. But I'm sure that there's probably a few movies in there where it's like, you know, a movie that you saw maybe when you were younger or on TV and you're like, what was that movie or whatever, and then you find it on here and it's like, oh, you know, like maybe like a kind of nostalgic movie. Like if you were
in gonna say like all the movies that are probably gonna appear on that segment that we do. Where you liked as a child and hate now.
Yeah. So, like, if you are dying to see Neighbors with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, they have it on DVD now.
Amazon's been listening to our podcast, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly garbage, but they have. I'm pretty sure this section just came out like earlier this week, and
I forget where I read about it. It was on something.
They have like 1,500 titles, almost 1,600 titles. So check that out. Maybe you can find some hidden treasures in there.
I'm checking it now.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about some news. First up, I just want to say I wrote an article about this on the site. First thing I want to talk about is the 7-minute long trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man I had to sit through.
Oh my God, Adam. Deal with it. Okay.
I'm gonna complain about this because I feel like I don't want to see that much. I don't want to see that much of a movie. I don't need to see the movie now.
Yeah, I would have lost my shit if I was there.
It's
7 minutes. That's ridiculous.
I mean, am I crazy to not want to see 7 minutes of a movie?
No, there's no need for that. There's just absolutely no need.
And I'm just guessing it was 7 minutes. It might have been longer for all I know. I'm pretty sure I read that it's 7, but
that's insane.
I mean, they showed an entire scene from the movie in addition to your normal like action montage trailer type thing. And then they kind of like went over like the whole plot in like a voiceover thing too. I mean,
it sounds like it was like Cliff Notes in trailer form.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like Prometheus, they did that, I would really freak out over it. Because there's some movies I don't care, but either way, it's bad. Because if it's a movie that I don't want to see and I don't care about, I don't want to sit through a 7-minute trailer of it either. Yeah. So it's really a lose-lose situation for me.
It really is.
And I know that it's not just me because I was seeing Men in Black with my girlfriend and she leaned over and she's like, oh, they're ruining the movie. And I heard other people in the audience starting to complain too. So I know it's not just me.
Like, did they have the standard number of trailers? Or did, like, the 7-minute trailer cut into... Like, did they cut out, like, 3 other trailers? So you only got 2?
You know, I can't remember. I think that there wasn't as many. I can't even remember what the trailers were other than that. We got there a little bit late, so we missed, like, the first trailer, I think. But It's ridiculous.
7-minute trailer.
Now that I know what happens in The Amazing Spider-Man, I can probably write a review for it right now.
That's what I was trying to think. Like, are they doing this for critics that don't feel like going to the movies?
I hope not, because the trailer probably doesn't do that movie justice. I mean, it wasn't very. It was like a random scene, like when he.
This was gonna say, was it like an action scene, or was it just like
no?
him
Well, it was
chatting with some friends.
It actually was. It was him in school trying to like muster up the courage to ask out Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone's character, and it was like this awkward transaction of words they had.
Nice.
I mean, it was an okay scene, but it wasn't.
So it wasn't like cliched or anything.
I don't know, maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm still excited for the movie. I still think that the movie looks good, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not that into having that much of a movie revealed.
Yeah.
So.
Who do they think they are?
The gall.
Unbelievable.
And what I said in my article was, if you want to do that, that's fine, because certainly some people are just clamoring to see every bit and read every bit that they can. I mean, some people are like that.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do they leak a scene or an exclusive clip or, whatever? But that's fine. But like you said, do it on the internet, so
yep.
I don't have to see it.
Yeah. Let me choose. If I want to see a 7-minute clip of a movie or whatever, then...
Or maybe even preface the trailer in the movie theater, like, hey, just to give you a heads up, this is going to be 7 minutes long, and we're going to give away most of the movie for you.
Yeah, just give us...
So if you want to pop out and get some popcorn or something,
yeah, just give us some buffer time.
And they should like hand out those little vibrating discs that you get at like Ruby Tuesdays or something to let you know when it's over.
It's safe to come back in. Yeah, that's a good idea. They should start doing that.
Like a cigarette break. Pop outside for a cigarette real quick.
Moving on, Amour wins the Palme d'Or.
I know, which Michael Haneke.
We talked about this on a previous podcast. Neither of us seem to be very big fans of this guy.
No, I'm definitely not. But for me, if you win the Palme d'Or, I automatically, I have to see it. And I did. I watched like the trailer and some clips for this movie, and it does. And reading about it, it does sound. I mean, it's completely different than his other movies, and it actually sounds like it's pretty good. So I'm probably going to check it out.
I have no interest in it at all, but
I'll probably get to see it in 5 years.
Yeah.
But.
Well, it did get distribution, so it should be popping up somewhere sometime.
Who picked it up?
Sony. Sony Pictures Classics.
Man, they were making some good decisions.
Yeah, they picked it up. I think they picked it up before it won.
Yeah.
But I think it was favored to win anyway. And this is his second win. He won for 2009's The White Ribbon as well, which neither of us were into.
No, and I was trying to decide this weekend. I might give that movie another chance.
I might.
I don't know. I really don't want to, though, because that's admitting that maybe I was wrong. Which I'm not.
Well, you weren't wrong with Funny Games.
Funny Games is terrible. Terrible movie.
Oh, I forgot to talk about in our beginning segment that I did see Men in Black. I completely forgot to talk about that one.
How was that?
It was okay. That's all I'll say. Yeah, read the review. It's okay. It's not great.
Yeah.
It was better than the second one. I hated the second one with a passion. Thought it was really bad, and this was much better. Josh Brolin was awesome, but I mean that's what everybody's saying anyway, so you don't need another person saying that.
Yeah, we don't need none of that.
Okay, moving on, we have
Best Director.
Best Director.
This movie was on my top 10 most excited films of the year.
Yes, it was.
So I'm even more excited for it now. Plus, I saw some clips from it. It looks very bizarre. Oh, and of course, the best director was Carlos Regadas
Mm-hmm.
For his film Post Tenebras Lux, which looks like a surreal version of Tree of Life.
And it's funny because before, I didn't really read too much about that before we talked about it on our Cannes show.
Yeah. This movie. And did you see any clips from it?
No, I saw that they were available, but I didn't watch any yet.
It's very bizarre because the like the center of the image is completely fine, but then like the outside border is all distorted.
I might have to watch that and see.
It's like in double vision around the border.
Now, do you think that they just did that for the trailer or what?
No, he did it for the film.
Oh, so
And
the whole.
he expressed it in an interview. I think he said something about it.
Hmm.
Something about the importance of blurring still photography. This is as explained by him. The sides are blurred, but never the center. It's simply a matter of aesthetics. It is the way I see life. We see double in a way. That was his explanation for doing it.
Okay. No, I'm excited to see that. I think it looks pretty good.
Apparently there's a scene when one of the characters pulls his head off.
Ooh.
Pulls his own head off.
Well, I've often dreamed about pulling my own head off, especially today.
Yes.
Yes. One of the big losers was another movie you were excited about was Holy Motors.
Yes, but I am I still feel good about it because some of the reviews that I read said that it was, a surprise. It was actually pretty good. So, I mean, it didn't win any awards, but I never really expected it to.
Well, I think a lot of people did expect it to actually, and I think that's why it was a big letdown because people.
Well, those people are ridiculous if they thought that movie was going to win awards.
I don't know.
Give me a break.
U.S. films were big losers.
Yes. I didn't hear much about Lawless. Did that even get good reviews? Anything?
Yeah, there are some reviews up, but I have not read any, so I'm not sure where Lawless stands. It could be either way at this point.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Django Unchained trailer.
Oh, yeah?
That's going to be showing at Prometheus.
Oh, I did see that it was supposed to be coming out soon. Because I seen they started releasing pictures from it.
Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people dropped out. I don't know if you heard about that, but there was like Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think there was a couple other people in there. Will Smith was originally attached, but he didn't want to do it, and that's why they got Jamie Foxx.
Good choice.
That's kind of...
Oh, shoot. No Kurt Russell. Oh.
Oh, he was the character that he was playing. They're actually just cutting out of the film entirely. They're not. They're not replacing him.
Wow.
He was quoted as saying that it wasn't Western enough.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I think we're gonna do a Prometheus episode.
Yes.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
When we talk about Prometheus, we'll talk about our thoughts on the Django Unchained trailer. In other trailer news, we have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, the Red Band trailer. Dude, it looks fun. It looks really fun. It looks very visual. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
After the Red Band trailer.
Yeah, it just looks like a ridiculously fun time.
Yeah, it just looks really fun. Did you see the Great Gatsby trailer?
I did see the Great Gatsby trailer.
What do you think of that?
Initial thoughts? What the hell was that? What the hell was that?
Well, it's Baz Luhrmann. That's what it is.
What?
So Baz Luhrmann is the director. He did Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet. So he's a very visually oriented director. And it looks like I thought it almost looked like a colorized version of like Sin City or something.
Have you ever read the Great Gatsby?
No, I never did.
I have not either. I'm not a fan of F. Scott Fitzgerald.
I'm not a fan of reading. I mean, it is
honesty.
I think it is considered probably one of the greatest American novels. I like the 20s. I mean, I'm cool with the 20s. Seen a movie about the 20s.
You're hip to the 20s.
I'm down with the flappers. I don't know.
It's definitely that trailer is not what I was expecting.
It's a very
which I don't know why. I mean, it was Baz Luhrmann. I don't know what the hell I was expecting.
Yeah, it's going to be a very stylistic take on it, I believe, and it's in 3D too. So.
Oh, I wish F. Scott was here now, just to get his thoughts on it.
I can just imagine him just shaking his head slowly with his palm on his face. Oh my! Any other news bits you want to go over?
Well, speaking another book that might finally get adapted into a film, A Confederacy of Dunces.
Oh yeah, I did read about that.
They've been trying to make this into a movie for years, the whole way back to Harold Ramis. Wanted to have John Belushi in this movie, and he died. Then he wanted John Candy, he died, and then Chris Farley, and then he died. And at one point, there was a version adapted by Steven Soderbergh with David Gordon Green, supposed to be directing, starring Will Ferrell as the main character, and that fell apart. So now, apparently, Zach Galifianakis is going to be playing the main character.
Well, I'm not holding my breath on that.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, how many times this movie has fallen apart. But they're supposed to be in negotiations with James Bobin, the director of The Muppets, and Flight of the Conchords, so maybe it'll get made? Probably not, though.
I was reading today that Pauly Shore announced that there might be a In the Army Now sequel called In the Army Again.
What?
I don't think this is going to really happen, but apparently he was talking to Andy Dick about it, the possibility of a sequel.
That's funny in so many different ways.
Have you been reading about the Blade Runner sequel? All the news that's coming out about that?
I have not.
So
I just saw that they were thinking about doing one.
So Ridley Scott's he announced that there is going to definitely be a Blade Runner sequel. It's going to have a female protagonist, which is pretty cool, depending on who they get.
Yeah. And
today it was announced that he said that he definitely wants Harrison Ford to be in it, playing his character. Oh. So were you... I take it you were not a Blade Runner fan.
No, not really.
I think it came out just a little bit before our time.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it when I was like maybe 12 or 13, and I just thought it was kind of boring and I wasn't into it. I think that what I'm going to do is go back and rewatch it because I feel like I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is regarded as one of the, if not the best sci-fi movies ever made, so.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if I went back and watched it, that I probably would thoroughly enjoy it.
I think what I'm going to do is try to get the... I don't want the really expensive one that they came out with, the DVD set, but I do want to see there was a specific cut that Ridley Scott did called like the final cut or the something cut. I want to see that so I can see like exactly what he wanted to do with it.
But did you also see that they're going to try and turn Shadow of the Colossus into a movie?
Yeah, I did read that.
The director of Chronicle.
Yeah. Was it Josh Trank?
Josh Trank.
Yeah. He's also been toying with the idea of doing a Fantastic Four reboot.
Yeah, and it also says he's thinking of doing a Venom movie.
That was kind of being thrown around too. That's like all speculation at this point. None of that's official, but
yeah,
I really enjoyed Chronicle, and I think the idea of a Shadow of the Colossus movie could really work, but I think it'd be an insanely difficult movie to make.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would work. I imagine when I see Shadow of the Colossus, I think of Where the Wild Things Are, the live action one, and how they did that. Maybe they could do something with that, like similar.
Yeah, I don't know how it will be if it's live action. I could definitely see like an animated version of this movie. I think would be insane if they got like Studio Ghibli to do that. Can you mention that?
Or even Pixar.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. But I would like to see the hand-drawn animation.
It'd be cool. It would definitely be cool.
I don't know about live action though, with CG and stuff.
I don't know. I think it'd be hard, but I actually do have a little bit of confidence with him as a director, so I think that he's gonna make some good stuff. Hopefully, I think that does it. Did you have any other news bits?
I don't think so.
Let's move on and do some of our predictions. First, let's look at what we picked last week. We have Men in Black 3. Kevin, you said 70. I said 75. Actual, 67. So you won that one.
Damn right.
Moonrise Kingdom, which I didn't realize was only going to be coming out in like 6 theaters. I was like all excited to see it this weekend, and then I realized that it wasn't playing anywhere.
Yeah, it was
very disappointing.
New York.
You said 91. I said 93. Current score 95.
Wow. Awesome.
And then finally we have Chernobyl Diaries. Kevin, you said 48. I said 43. Actual 24. So that's not great reviews on Chernobyl Diaries. I had our contributor Chad go see it, and he said it was okay. It wasn't great. It was kind of a typical horror movie, and he said it was shot like a found footage movie, but it wasn't found footage, so it was like faux found footage.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna copyright that term, by the way. Faux found footage.
Can't wait for that genre.
Let's go over what's coming out this week. First up, we have Snow White and the Huntsman. What do you think about this?
Oh, I'm thinking like a 72.
I'm gonna say 80.
80.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say 80. And let's just for fun, Battlefield America.
Is that the
dancing one?
Oh my God, that's right. I'm gonna go with like a 9.
I'll say I don't know. I think it's gonna be a little bit higher than that, maybe 13. I'll say 13. Then we have Piranha 3 Double D. I'm gonna say, well, it currently has a score of 8, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 10.
Oh, I'm gonna go with like an 88.
88.
I think it's just gonna skyrocket. No, I'm gonna go with like a 12.
12. Okay.
It'd be crazy if that happened though. If we checked it next week and it was at like 81.
Well, do you know what the first one, Piranha 3D, do you know what that got? 73.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember being surprised.
It's a fun movie. I keep saying it's now if you like got it on Netflix, you probably wouldn't enjoy it, but to see it in the theater in 3D, it's fun. It's it's like a classic exploitation film. And one thing I do like about both Piranha movies is the posters that they come out with. They're like these classic looking old school posters.
I've not seen the poster for it.
Yeah, they're really cool. Both the first one and the second one. I think that pretty much does it. There's a couple other ones that are coming out in limited release. We have High School with Adrian Brody. We have Apartment 143, which was the horror movie we talked about last week. We also have Loved Ones, which is another horror movie we talked about last week. A Cat in Paris, which we talked about ages ago. And there's a couple other limited release ones that I don't think we need to predict. So, What do you think about that high school movie?
I don't know.
Have you seen anything about that? Apparently, it was made like a long, long time ago, but it got shelved or something.
Yeah, that sort of telling me that it's probably not good.
Well, it depends on what the reason, because
Yeah.
if it's a cabin in the woods situation where it gets shelved because the company goes bankrupt.
I have a feeling that it's not a cabin in the woods situation.
No.
I think those things only happen once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I agree. I think Red Dawn is also in that same place where they ran out of money.
Well, I think it was, what was the movie from earlier this year? Margaret. That's supposed to be like a really good movie that got shelved because I guess arguments and whatnots.
I think that does it. For all the latest film news and reviews, head on over to filmpulse.net, and we want to hear your feedback. Send us an email at podcast@filmpulse.net, or just give us a call on our voicemail line at 850-391-6075. I also promise that if you call that number, nobody's going to answer. Because I know, if it were you, Kevin, you would be really nervous about calling.
Yeah. If I have to talk to a person, there's no way. I can't even order food on the telephone.
I promise you it will not be answered. Also, please take a minute to rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that greatly. For filmpulse.net, my name is Adam.
And I'm Kevin.
And we will see you on Tuesday, so I guess tomorrow, for DVD and Blu-ray releases.
Oh, yeah.